Wow, that's a tough act to follow. No, I will not be singing. Chairwoman Khan, Chairwoman Khan, Chairman Dukat, President Benjamin, fellow candidates, fellow cooperators. When I tell people that I serve on the board of directors of Manhattan's largest housing co-op, they're very impressed. And they want to know what I do on the board. And I stand up straight and I square my shoulders and I look at them straight in the eye and I tell them I'm chairman of the laundry committee. They laugh too, but they don't understand. But I think you understand that until about 3 years ago, for 50 years, we had the same concrete footprint in the laundry rooms, the same number of machines. And when I became chairman of the laundry committee, I knew that we could do better. So I sat down with Hercules and I worked out a way that we could increase laundry capacity by 30%, which we did. We got American Dryer to produce reversing dryers in our size for the first time ever. We did that. We got longer hours passed for working families. We got more comfortable seating for seniors. That's not the only innovation, though, that I brought to Penn South. Before that, I put in a fiber optic cable network instead of regular phone wires when we needed to reconnect our old intercoms in 2005. And because we did that, we were able to connect network switches to it that allowed us to have hundreds of cameras all over Penn South, as well as irrigation control and elevator control and pump room monitoring. And it's allowed us to move the management and security offices all around the complex. When we were doing HVAC, when things went bad with HVAC, I actually went down to Georgia to talk to Trane about the fan coils and to make them understand our two-pipe system. I have a tip for you. Don't go into a bar in rural Georgia and ask for mineral water. It's a bad idea. I run North American operations for a European construction machinery company. I have a BA from Yale, and I have 30 years of innovation in entrepreneurship, not just on the board, but off the board in a variety of companies. I ask for your vote. I've served on the board for 9 years. I'd like to serve another 3. My name is Brian Hammerstein, and I encourage you to vote for me and the other ACC candidates. Thank you.
Each member can afford X amount to live here. There are members here living on the edge. How would you approach and help that member?
As I understand it, there are a number of programs that are available. SCREE is one. There's Section 8. There's other governmental aid from the city. The best approach for anyone who finds himself in that position is to go to the office and sit down with them. And I know we have people dedicated to handling that issue. And I don't know of anyone who's been evicted from Penn South who was evicted because they were not able to pay. They might not have been paying, but not because they weren't able to pay. And I have another minute, and I'd like to talk about something also financial related. We have a refi coming up in 2021, and we have benefited substantially by having a current mortgage that has a 20-year amortization instead of a 25 or 30. That means that after 20 years, you've paid off the loan, and then you have borrowing capacity to do something else. I'm a very strong proponent of doing another 20-year refi in 2021, even if it's a little bit difficult up front, even if the carrying charge is a little bit higher, over the long run, because we'll be paying so much less interest, we'll be saving money. So I feel that's very important.
Do you believe after a $250,000 theft and a $40 million cost overrun, it's time for a new general manager?
Microphone is not working. Okay, there we are. Bruce, thank you. I don't know if people remember, but Bruce asked me a question 3 years ago. So it's nice to hear from you again. What you call the theft, that money was returned to us. We got that money back from the individual. Regarding the $40 million cost overrun, that was a result of shifting to a better contractor so that we could get better work done for the remainder of the complex and remediate the bad work that was done in the first 3 buildings. And we have a legal proceeding underway to recover as much of that as we possibly can. The problems with HVAC in the first 3 buildings bother me tremendously. And yes, I think it's a crime what they did or did not do on our behalf, and we are after them, I assure you. And to choose the subsequent contractor, FW Sims, whom I understand has done a tremendous job in the remaining buildings. I was one of the board members with Walter Mankoff and Morris Benjamin who went around all over the New York area. We visited the top 6 MEPs personally, and we sat down with them for hours and talked to them about our situation and gave them an opportunity to prove to us that they were the right firm to choose. So we're very glad that we got them in here and that they're doing a great job. And for future work, I assure you, I am going to be looking very carefully at these vendors and making sure that we choose the very best one. Thank you.
Why do we not have free Wi-Fi throughout Penn South? Most of the telecom projects have either been poorly designed, our intercom, or simply designed and priced to enrich Verizon.
Microphone is, okay, there we go. Very good. May I ask what you mean by designed to enrich Verizon? I'm not sure what she meant by that. Okay, all right, I can't start a conversation. Let me talk about the free Wi-Fi. And thank you for that fabulous question, because I'm very interested in this personally. The problem with our buildings is that the steel doors make transmitting Wi-Fi into the apartments from the corridors very difficult. And I've tried this myself with a router, and it's true. It's really very hard to do. They have this in the big apartment complex next to us, London Terrace, I think it's called, and it isn't very reliable. So you're much better off in our buildings with a wired internet. But I'm very glad you brought this up, because I do believe that coincident with the electrical upgrade that we intend to do, we should run fiber optic cable up the buildings with the goal of providing internet service to apartments, and we could do it at prices way below what Verizon charges and return revenue back to the co-op. This is very doable, and it's important that we run the fiber when we're doing the electrical, because that's the pathway that's so expensive to do after the fact, and that's a great reason to vote for me so that I'm on the board when that happens, because I went through it for years with the fiber optic cabling that we've run underground. So there are a lot of subtleties with it that I'd love to address as a board member at that time. Thank you.
Microphone, please.
Microphone, thank you, okay. First, I'd like to thank the election committee, the chair, Sarah Kahn and Marty Duquette, and also Jenna Feist, who I believe had a big role in coming up with this format. I think it's been great. I think the format's been wonderful, and I really appreciate answering more questions from cooperators. I want to address the noise issue. I think that there should be an off-the-shelf offering from management or a subcontractor to put in noise proofing, because I live in an A apartment, and my neighbor in the B put noise proofing along the long wall separating us. It's completely effective. I never hear anything in her apartment. She never hears anything in my apartment, and it's been wonderful. As far as the outside noise is concerned, call 311. I found that to be helpful. One other issue that I'd like to look at in the next 3 years is water filtration. This is something that management has expressed an interest to me in doing. It's a little costly, but the money you spend on it pays off in reduced problems with our underground piping. You'll also eliminate brown water, make the laundries run better. It's something to look at. Also, networked electricity meters. Currently, we have 1962 meters. They aren't very accurate. You have to spend 20 grand a year to have them read manually. Network meters would save that money. And when deciding for whom to vote, think of what each candidate would bring to the board table. I bring innovation, both on the board, outside of the board. That's what I do. I look at things, I decide how they can be done better, and then get that approved and get the support of my fellow board members. So thanks again to the SVA for making this auditorium available. Please vote for me, Brian Hammerstein, and my fellow ACC candidates, Matthew Barilli, Lord Blason, Kim Oliver, and Sasha Tabachman-Smith. Thank you.